Some years ago, after I had just finished giving a talk about the importance of nonverbal communication at a local preschool, a concerned parent approached me about her 4-year-old son, Jack. With an anxious look on her face, she explained that Jack was having trouble making friends at school. According to his teachers, it wasn't that he was mean or rude to his classmates. He just seemed to have a knack for annoying them. On my next visit to the school, I had a chance to observe Jack in the company of his classmates at various times of the day. At the end of my visit, I had to concede that he certainly had a way of upsetting his fellow students. The problem wasn't anything he said, rather it was how he interacted with others nonverbally. Jack was a world-class space invader. In his interactions with his peers, he stood too close to them, and then moved closer as time passed. Soon he was bumping into everyone around him, irritating them even more. Jack seemed to have little idea of the interpersonal havoc he was creating. I felt his mother ought to have a chance to see what I was seeing, so I asked her to come along with me on my next visit to the school so we could observe Jack together. Sure enough, just as before, Jack crowded in on his classmates, who would either move as far away as they could the second they saw him coming, or simply treat him as if he weren't there. As we watched these encounters, I explained to Jack's mother that Jack seemed to be unaware of the unspoken boundaries delineating personal space. She confessed that he might not have learned about this unspoken rule because he was an only child and hadn't had many chances to interact with other children before he began preschool. I suggested a couple of simple ways she could help him to understand personal space and be more conscious about respecting it. One of these involved having him sit in a chair or stand with a circle of masking tape about 4 feet in diameter, the appropriate distance for social interaction, placed on the floor. I met with Jack's mother a week later, and she seemed pleased, reporting that the masking tape circle had done the job of making invisible spatial boundaries more visible to Jack. In fact, she said, they had great fun practicing how close or far away to stand. She even invited the next-door neighbor's child to come and play their how far to stand away and how close to get game. By bringing Jack's mistake into his awareness and directly teaching him how to correct it, the social problem was soon resolved. When I returned to the school 2 weeks later, Jack was smiling a lot more and having a much more pleasant time with his classmates. We all know children like Jack. Kids who just can't seem to get life right at times. They really want others to like them, but the harder they try, the worse they seem to do. In most cases, their social problems aren't the result of a learning disability, autism, or any obvious disorder, but rather something so basic it is easy to overlook. They just haven't had enough opportunities to learn the nonverbal language skills critical to being socially successful. We often assume that the most popular kids are always the smartest or funniest or most attractive kids in the class. But in reality, they are simply the kids who have learned how to make interacting with them comfortable and easy. Every now and again, we psychologists see cases of children for whom genetic, biological, or emotionally traumatizing events, especially in early childhood, can produce extreme difficulties in interpreting others' nonverbal signals and/or expressing themselves nonverbally. This is seen most clearly for children on the autism spectrum and those diagnosed with nonverbal learning disorders. My colleague Marshall Duke and I coined a term for significant nonverbal deficits: dysemias. Dys equal difficulty, semia equals signs. A difficulty in processing nonverbal cues.